Welcome to McKellar Park in Canberra, or live on Bar TV Sports. It's Federation Cup final night. The top two teams in Canberra, the top two women's teams facing off. Belconnen United against Canberra United Academy for Cup final glory. My name's Russ Gibbs. I'm your lead commentator. Joining me on the commentary gantry today is Canberra United head coach Heather Garriock. The small matter of 130 international caps, 20 goals. Played your career in Denmark, Sweden, the USA, W League. Fair to say you know a fair bit about football, Heather?
Just a wee bit, Russ. Looking forward to such a great game today. I think it's going to be the battle of the experienced team in Belconnen United and battle of the youngsters as well, so it's going to be a fantastic one. It's
what we've had for most of the season. These two sides have been, like I said, the top two, with Canberra FC floating in and around there as well in the competition. This young group on our left here, as we look, Canberra United Academy, some fantastic young talent in there, and as you said, on the right here, the side that's really dominated women's football in Canberra over the last 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a credit to Ant. He always puts a great side on the pitch, and you got a lot of experience there in Belconnen United. But also, I think credit needs to go to Ryan Grogan as well. He's brought the CUA team from a non-competitive team last season to now a competitive team, and I think with his structure and his high expectations and his demanding for excellence, I think you can see that, and you'll definitely see that tonight too.
And the incredible story is that these two teams will play 3 times in 10 days now. Federation Cup final today, a rearranged catch-up match on Saturday, and then the first time Canberra United Academy eligible for finals, they come up against Belconnen 1v2 in the qualification final.
Exactly, and it's going to be a battle of tactics for the coaches as well. Will they change? I'm not quite sure Ant will change his tactics. He said that the last 8 years he hasn't changed, so he's got the pedigree as well. But in saying that, it's a great experience for these young girls to play in finals football, and it's a credit to Capital Football for allowing that and the clubs to allow that, because playing in pressure games is only going to advance their career from a youngster's perspective.
And they're no stranger to the Federation Cup final. Canberra United Academy, they were here last year against Belconnen. They went down 5-2 on that occasion, but it was an open, exciting match. Both sides played some good football, and from what I've seen of the Academy this year, we've only done them a couple of times with myself on Bar TV. They've been really exciting to watch, and they score bagfuls of goals.
Yeah, exactly. When you got Aoife Colville up front, who scored the likes of 42 goals this season, then you're going to continue to feed her, which she's done really well. But also from the back, in terms of the oldest in Courtney playing from the back, and then you've got a strong midfield in Ross Backen, who's been exceptional and gone away for the young Matildas of recent times and played a lot for Canberra United, and also Husey as well. So you've got a quality team, and those youngsters are trying to bring the level up as much as possible.
I've just been told kickoff's been delayed till 7:06. Bit of a delay of the kickoff, probably people getting here after work and that kind of thing. We're looking ahead, and we can come back to these teams in just a moment. I want to look ahead to the W League with yourself as well, Heather. It's frustrating times with the draw not being out and that kind of thing, but we won't go down that path. What I want to talk about is Rafoli Jane and Rhoda Mulauzi. Have I said that correct? I'm not sure.
Not quite sure of their last names.
The two South African signings. First for the W League. Tell us a little bit about them and where you found them.
Yeah, a little bit of backstory. I think it's quite interesting. When you're recruiting, for myself, I've spent quite a lot of time recruiting. Just had the baby, and then thought I'd get back onto it and recruit. I think I need to think a little bit laterally this season, and there's quite a lot of Americans that come over and different countries, and just to see what the South Africans could offer. It was an agent that reached out to me, not once, not twice, but quite a lot of times, and then I ended up listening, and I watched some footage, especially on Fifi, that's Raphael, Jane, and then I quite liked what I saw, but just generally everybody looks good on YouTube clips, so I thought it was really important to bring both girls out to Canberra, and we've got the Canberra United Winter Program, and it was a great opportunity for them to come out and trial, and the last couple of weeks they've been here, they've been impressive. I got them in a practice match with the Belconnen United 18s boys, and they were outstanding, and exactly what I'm looking for in players there, in terms of their want and their determination to want to play at that next level is second to none, and obviously I'm sure you'd know in South Africa they're struggling in terms of women's football, and for women's football to be on the map, so very exciting players, especially Fifi. She's a holding midfielder, and then you've got the likes of Rhoda, who plays as a number 9. She's absolutely lightning quick.
I've been to South Africa a few times with my day job with the Brumbies, mostly with rugby, but have seen the fervour with which they love football over there, and can guarantee that with these two girls being in your team, the brand of Canberra United and the name of Canberra United is going to be known throughout South Africa, because they're going to be watching the games if they're streamed and tuning in to find out how they're going.
Yeah, once the news broke a couple of days ago, it's just been Manic over there. They've been in interviews and good morning shows and television and different things like that, which is fantastic for the country. And I think, to their credit, hopefully they're the pioneers, where they come to Australia and then several other South Africans follow, because I think the agent said to me that they've got a very similar style of football to the Brazilians, just a little bit more athletic. So I thought that was quite good of him to say that. And then when they come over here, I could see sort of what he meant, because they live and breathe football over there.
Do you think it might be a start of some players from the African continent as a whole getting the opportunity to come over and play? Because we've seen in the Women's World Cup the African countries are getting better each time they come in as well. Is that something that may happen a bit further down the track with some more players from different parts of Africa as well?
Yeah, I'm sure. With any networks, now I've got a network. I was speaking to the South African national coach this morning, which is fantastic, and she's very open to her players coming over to Australia, which is great. But yeah, it's just networks and people talking, because there is quite a lot of South Africans that are quality and that have never got the opportunity. So hopefully this is one step in the right direction.
I can see the players in the tunnel beneath us waiting to come out onto the field. Canberra United will be in the green, of course, tonight. Belconnen United in their blue. A couple of missing players for Canberra United today. Hayley Taylor-Young injured her quad, so she's unavailable. And Isabella Barach, who's a lovely little midfield player that I've seen play before, a partial tear of the patella tendon rules her out as well. And a couple of players off with the junior Matildas, Emma Ilioski and Steffi Lejeune, so they're a little bit short on numbers as well. They're missing those players, especially the pace of Taylor-Young and the quality of Barach as well. It's disappointing for them not to be here through injury.
No, exactly. I think Ant said it the other night when I was speaking to him as well, is that he'd prefer the Canberra United girls to have their full squad, so there's no excuses. But it's unfortunate for Barach not to play. She's a good little holding midfielder and sprays the ball left and right, good little technique. But for me, I think the big one is Hayley Taylor-Young. She's got lightning pace and getting in behind, and she had an outstanding game on the weekend as well. So, yeah, she causes havoc, but I'm sure Ify Colville will cause some havoc there up front.
Met twice in the league this season, 1-0 to Belconnen United in round 6. Jessie Rashard with a goal, and 5-1 to Belconnen at AIS as the two teams come out on the field, led by our match officials today. Lauren Hargrave in the middle, Carlina Mullett, Aisha Struts on the sideline, and Harriet G is the fourth official. Let's take a look at the two teams, starting with Belconnen United. In goal first, Nat Lacey. Back four of Ellie Raymond, Jessie Rashart, Lauren Keir and Bronte Pike. Midfield three of Caitlin Munoz, Michaela Day and Nicole Jaloka. Up front, 16 goal Madeline Whittle, 11 goal Jessie Williams and 9 goal Jasmine Maguire. So plenty of goals, plenty of pace and a lot of experience, Heather.
Yeah, there is, and Maddie Whittle has scored 16 goals so far, but again, I think she's going to be the key today. And also the experience of the midfield. Caitlin Munoz, obviously, she doesn't need to be introduced, a quality midfielder, able to play with both feet. And you've got Jaloka there that'll sit for the likes of Munoz, who will go forward, back and forth. So it's going to be great. And Michaela Day as well, who's a similar player to Jaloka as well, who sits and sprays the ball left and right. So I think it's going to be a battle of the midfield today.
You know all about Munoz as well. You've had some battles with her down the years.
Certainly have. She's played with the Matildas. Obviously, was at Canberra United last year. She's a quality player, so and a player that's played in really big matches as well. So this wouldn't be any different to anything else from her perspective.
Let's take a look at the Canberra United team. For the formation that we've given, it was a 4-3-3. Izzy Davey in goal. The back four of Molly Lawless, Courtney Hulse, Sis Matic, and Sarah Morgan. The midfield three: Stella DeMarco, Laura Hughes, and Carly Rosbachen. Up front, Sasha Grove, the 13-year-old, Aoife Colville, 45 goals in all competition, and Izzy Mulhall. It's an exciting side.
Absolutely, and to give a 13-year-old an opportunity in a final, what a great accolade that is. I know she come on the other day and scored a couple of goals, so now no doubt that's left Ryan to select her in the team along with a few other injuries, so it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
Sasha Grove, 13 years old. She made her first start 2 weeks ago against Tuggeranong United. She's been off the bench a couple of times, scored a couple of absolute pearlers against Canberra Olympic not too long ago, and at 13 years of age in this side up against the likes of Caitlin Munoz and Mickey Day and that kind of experience, it's a heck of an occasion for her as well, and her teammates, as you mentioned.
Yeah, for a 13-year-old to be able to play alongside these players and to have aspirations is second to none. So it's going to be interesting to see how she goes. But as a 13-year-old, don't know any difference. So she'll probably just go out and play her own game today.
Well, this is her on the near side, diminutive in stature with the orange boots. Sasha Grove, her sister, is on the bench. Annie Grove tonight, a couple of years older than her, just turned 15, I've heard. So family affair for the Groves.
Yeah, that's exceptional, both of them on the team sheet, but the younger sister starts, so I'm sure the older sister wants to get on, I'm sure.
I mean, I didn't have any brothers as such. I had two sisters, but there was always some sibling rivalry. But if you're both in the same team, there'd be a little bit of that, wouldn't there?
Yeah, there would. I'm a family of 5, so there was definitely some battles between sisters and brothers, that's for sure.
Well, it's Belconnen United in the blue, waiting to kick us off this Federation Cup final. Pretty successful, Belconnen United. They've won 6 of the last 7 Federation Cups in 2011, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016 and 2017. Unbeaten in 20 games this year. 1 draw against Belconnen United. 7 clean sheets in a row as well, if you don't mind, Heather. The last time they conceded was in round 15 against the Academy. So not only do they score plenty, they're hard to break down as well. They've only conceded 5 in all competitions this season. 17 clean sheets.
Yeah, let's give credit to Lauren Kerr at the back, who basically is a stalwart as well. She bosses that back line, and Nat Lacey's experiencing goals as well. So it's important to have a player like Lauren Stature at the back.
Here she is, looking to play at forward, but she's given it away to Hughes. Whittle was in there as well. We're expecting a lively start. So Molly Lawless with the throw. And Hughes plays it square, and this is the first touch for Stella DeMarco. Canberra United Academy, for their parts, 51 goals in their last 10 games. So only the 5 a match they're averaging. Pretty decent start. And most of those, as I've said, have come from Aoife Colville, an incredible statistic. 42 league goals, 3 cup goals, 45 in all competitions. You know a bit about her from the Canberra United last year as well, Heather. So she got a lot of potential.
Potential plus for sure. I brought her in last year and didn't even know how to pronounce her name, let alone know her name. She's a girl from Cairns that come down, and Ray Dow gave an opportunity, and she's been in Canberra for a couple of years. So to see her last year, the thing that drew me to her was just her tenacity and her winning mentality, and she played some games for Canberra United, and you'll hear her name again, I'm sure, because she's quality, especially playing in that number 9 role.
That was her trying to get the touch on the ball, beaten to it by Mickey Day. Here she is, though, Colville, looking to send it forward and asking Grove to chase, and the youngster put the foot down for a moment and then gave up on it as it was going to run through to Nat Lacey in goal. Rashard, plenty of experience in the Belconnen back 4. Keir sends it forward. It's Jalocka in midfield. Closed down fairly quickly by combination of Hughes and Rosbakken. And it is, as you said, Heather, the midfield that's likely to be the key to this one.
Yeah, I think so. It's so experienced, that midfield of Belconnen, and just like any team, they make you tick. And Mickey Day, Caitlin Munoz and Jalocka there against our youngsters in Rosbakken and Hughesy as well. So it's going to be tough to break them down, but hopefully we're going to see a lot of attacking and a lot of transitional play.
Well, we're expecting a decent match. Munoz sends it forward, Whittle's away, and she's got the pace on Lawless here as Madeline Whittle. Chance to take on the defender, who does well to come back and recover. Lost the foot race, but won the physical battle in the end, concedes a corner.
Yeah, I'm sure Canberra United know a lot about Maddie Whittle, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they drop off or whether they press her hard. So obviously you can see Munoz is just putting the ball in behind, which is clever.
Jazz Maguire with the first set piece of the evening. Decent crowd turned out here on this main grandstand for this final. Live on Bar TV Sports. Swung in towards Munoz. The header was won, but straight down the throat of Davey, who gets away early, but there's no green shirts chasing that one. Plenty of these players have had W League experience. Colville, Rosebach and Morgan and Hughes have all played W League, and Izzy Davey has been on the bench as well, and Munoz, Raymond, Whittle for Belconnen with Lauren Keir and Jazz Maguire. So plenty of them have had experience at the top level.
Yeah, I think that's key, especially in Canberra, is to try and expose these girls, especially in our local competition at NPL level, W League and the standard of W League. And it's great to see the girls getting opportunity, especially last season. It was when our young Matildas away that several of these players got the opportunity to play in that first W League game against Melbourne Victory. So I'm sure once you get the taste of that level, then you definitely want to continue to try and aspire for that.
Might well have been the youngest Canberra United team in history, that one, Heather, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a fair few youngsters in that team.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Belconnen on the break. Munoz line one up and got a nasty knock for a chance. It's broken for Williams and he's clipped the crossbar. Well, that came from nothing. Munoz half cleared, and I think it was Jesse Williams who snuck in and lifted it over the keeper. And the crossbar saves Canberra United.
Yeah, it looked like a Hulse that kept the Belconnen girls on side.
Early warning. 5 minutes in. Prodded forward towards Colville. That's a lovely touch. Now here's a chance down the right hand side. That Mulhall, I'm not sure ball comes in though towards Colville, who's in there. And Rashard was helped to clear it, but lovely touch from Colville to get the winger in down the left hand flank. It is, and just see how she's playing with so much confidence, and great to see Ross Backing get in and make that third man run. They play well off each other. Yeah, it was Ross Backing to come from deep, wasn't it? That just created the space and got in, and unfortunate for the academy that they couldn't get anyone on the end of it. It'd be definitely interesting to see if Canberra United get one up, how Belconnen responds. I think for most neutrals, I would like to see that if they're youngsters to go in the lead, but here's a chase and good foot in by Lawless at the back. Here's Grove, tries to spin away, but she's well marshalled by Bronte Pike. She's had a decent season, the Belconnen left back, 9 goals from left back Bronte Pike this year. Yeah, she's done well. She was in the mix of Canberra United, I think, in recent years, and was part of the ACTAS program as well. So she scored a brace a couple of weeks ago, I saw. So she's doing well, and Ant quite rates her as well. Bagged a hat-trick in a game earlier this season as well. Loves her goals. I'm not afraid. I've been told to tell her forwards to trap back and cover for her, screaming at Maudie Whittle to drop back and cover at full-back. That's good. Maddie doesn't like to defend too much. Not many forwards do they? Most strikers don't. But it's good that she's got the confidence in her teammates to go forward and push like that, knowing that they'll cover for her. Yeah, exactly. And to score some goals as well at left back is a credit to her attacking abilities as well. Keir with a free kick, lifts it forwards. Hall swings it, headed up towards Colville, who lets it run and picks it up and tries to swing it down the left-hand side. The runner out there, I think that was Mulhall, was it, that made that run? It's difficult to see over there on the dark with these black numbers on the back of their shirts. I think it's Izzy Mulhall playing on the left-hand flank. Again though, Colville just rolled the marker nicely. And she's going to have a huge say in the outcome of this one, you would think. The academy looking to build. DeMarco. It's a bit wayward, and Pike will pick it up. Munoz. DeMarco snapping at her heels. Here's Mickey Day. I think Canberra United, you can tell, I guess Grogan's got them playing high pressure in the midfield and trying to put as much pressure on as possible, especially in that mid-third just there. As a more experienced player, it could be nothing worse than seeing these young players buzzing around you every time you get near the ball, and judging by how fit and they have been all season, they'll be doing it all night as well. So. Yeah, they will, right until the 90. Grogan's got him well fit. Good ball forward from Hughes to Colville. Back to Hughes again. Good build up this from the academy. Out wide towards Mulhall. Looking for runners inside. Still going. Good ball in as well. Might fall on the edge of the area. Strikes goalwards, and not enough pace on it from Colville, but the first real test for Nat Lacey. And a nice build up. Yeah, really good build up. Just a touch back, a longer ball, and it's great to see Molly out there on the left hand side being able to beat the defender. Ball sent forwards. Again, it breaks in midfield and Academy quickest to it. Pike was there. And Day goes back to Rashard. Pike once more. Whittle. Pike again. Good from Belconnen. Here's Whittle. Nodjaloka. Raymond on the overlap. Good run this. Building up from the back, and it might fall in the area, but it doesn't in the end. Whittle was in on the end of it, but good build up from Belconnen as well. This promises much, this game so far. Rashard needs to be careful and uses all of experience to ease off Colville, who concedes the free kick. But both sides wanting to play football, Heather. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's great to see, and you can see Canberra United, as soon as they lose the ball, everybody's behind the ball besides Colville. So there's a real importance of defensive discipline and trying to get bodies in behind.
Throw in on the far side. Academy, neither side really had a shot on target at the moment. 10 minutes in, live on Bar TV Sports. Fairly cagey cup final start. It swung towards Maguire, but picked off by Halls. Here's Hughes. The green shirts moving forward again. Just that last pass at the moment.
Great run there by Sarah Morgan. It's great to see her driving into space and trying to draw the defender to then pick Belconnen players off.
It's Grove. Wins herself a free kick. Started brightly, the youngster, on this near side.
Yeah, she has. She's very slight, isn't she? She's only little, but you can tell very, very good technique.
Free kick for what should be taken by Lawless. Somebody's it towards that far side, but it's a bit weak. It's going to be picked up though in midfield by Rosbarken. Now Morgan, who made that run a moment ago. Happy to go back to Matic at the back, who sends it forward. Raymond wins the header. Morgan again, becoming more influential in these early stages. The pass towards Grove, nicely hit down there as well from Rosbarken. She likes those balls forward, doesn't she? She's got good vision, Carly Rosbarken. Makes a big difference when she's in this side.
Absolutely, especially in this team. She's playing in the midfield, and I know she plays for Young Matildas. She played for Canberra United last year in more of a wing-back position, but yeah, she's running the show in there. It's great to see.
And they're certainly not overawed by their opponents. That's evident from the opening 10 minutes.
No, and I think that's a credit to Ryan. He's instilled a lot of confidence in this team, especially this year, and you can tell they're playing with quite a lot of confidence. And I'm sure he's built their confidence up to let them know that they can win this game tonight.
The centre-back pairing will need to be on their toes, Matic and Halls. We've seen them earlier in the season, and both are decent players. And I like the look of Matic on the ball now. She's pretty calm on it, and distribution is fairly good.
She's very calm. It's just in the last couple of minutes when Belconnen are playing those balls in, they're sitting quite deep, so that's opening up pockets then for the Belconnen players to receive it in front of them and go forward.
As I said, there are no real chances so far. Lacey asking much of Rashard there, putting her under pressure. Hughes nods it down towards Grove. Gets it back again. She tries her luck as well, and why not? Didn't quite catch it, but his ambition was there.
Laura Hughes trying to hit a 40-yard shot from on a left foot.
16 goals this season,
ambitious.
It was ambitious.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that between them, there's two midfielders there, Rosbarken and Hughes, in all competitions this season that have 29 goals.
Yeah, it's superb.
Midfield, it's outstanding stuff. And you add that to the 45 from Colville, and there's three of the top scorers in the competition in the one team, and no wonder why they're going so well in the league, and they're probably an outside chance for finals as well, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's at the start of the season you would have thought so, and I know the goal was to make finals, and it's like I said at the start, it's great to see that CUA are allowed to play in the finals, because it makes sense, because these youngsters need to be under pressure at this particular age, and they need to know what it feels like, because they're representing their country at 17s, 20s and Matilda's age group, so it's best to start them young. So it's great. It's a great occasion for them.
It's Munoz against Grove, two players at the opposite ends of their career clashing in there, and that's one for Colville to chase. Rashart's after it. There's one thing that Colville does have is absolute bags of pace.
Yeah, she does. She's quite deceiving. She can hold the ball up. So if you ask me what type of striker she was, I think she's got the best of both worlds. Good pace on her, but also can hold the ball up and able to join in, especially in that 10 role too.
A very prolific one, I think, is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Here's Grove into the area. Can see the idea there, and the right-footed drive rather was always looping over from Mulhall.
Don't let size deceive you, young Laura Hughes. She's very tenacious and very aggressive when it comes to the midfield as well, and she pulled someone's shirt before.
Learning the tricks of the trade early.
Yeah, it's good to see. She's been part of the ACTAS program for all these years, and Canberra United, so I'm sure she's learning from the best.
Raymond's under pressure. Free kicks given, gets out of that. I would say they're rattled, Belconnen, but they certainly haven't settled into any sort of rhythm yet. No,
there's no rhythm whatsoever. I think it's due to the pressure that Canberra United is putting on Belconnen. They're not able to let them play.
When you consider the Canberra United Academy are on an 8-match winning streak as well, since they lost to Belconnen in round 15, and that was their only loss since round 7. There's two sides that are used to winning football matches out there today. Here's Munoz. She's won a few in her time.
Absolutely.
Gets it back from Maguire. Nicely done, Caitlin Munoz. Remember her scoring an absolute pearler here for Belconnen United, for Canberra United. Might have been against Sydney actually, in one of the early years from this kind of range.
I've seen Caitlin score many of 40-yarders in her time. Absolute quality.
Here's a break on for Belconnen for the academy. Raymond snuffs it out there. Been an absolute role model in her career, Caitlin Munoz. Done really well for Canberra United.
Yeah, she has. She's a homegrown girl, come from Canberra and spent a lot of time in Canberra, and it's a credit to see. It's for young girls to aspire to one day play for the Matildas like she did. Went to Olympic Games, World Cups, Asian Cups, you name it, she's done it. So it's great to see her continuing to play for Belconnen United, the club that she's played for all along.
Throw into the academy. 0-0 here live on Bar TV Sports. Federation Cup final action in midweek. Looking forward to finals football. There is one league match still to play. Belconnen versus the Canberra Academy in round 10. A repeat of this fixture this weekend. These two will be sick of the sight of each other come the end of finals, you'd think.
Yeah, is it a question, do either teams rest players for this weekend, or do they go out and try and get the upper hand? That's the question.
The free kick here, the referee Lauren Hargreaves pulled them back. No advantage, even though Belconnen looked like they were on a break there. It is an interesting one, Heather, and we've talked about it in the past in the men's game. Do you build momentum? Do you rest players? If people are like on cards or dangerous suspension, do you risk changing the balance of the side for finals football? It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and if you are playing a number of games within a certain amount of time in which these two teams are, well, they've got 3 games in 7 days, I think it is, then yeah, it'd be ideal to rest players, but it depends on your bench. If you've got the depth, which Belconnen do.
Cleared by Matic. Munoz was there. Jalocka was involved too, and Dave tried to prod it forward, and that's sliced by Matic. This might fall nicely for Belconnen. Jalocka's there, and Izzy Davey does very well. Brave bit of goalkeeping as Lawless just cushioned it back to her. There was a coming together off the ball there between Colville and Rashart. Nothing in it though. I think Rashart just letting the young forward know that she's around. Just have a few of them in your time, didn't you, Heather? You got to let them know you're there.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're a senior player and you got the youngsters coming through, you want them to do their time, do their apprenticeship.
His shoes. Nice switch. Raymond was there though straight away. She snuffed Mulhall quite well so far. Morgan. And that's Rosebarkin looking for the winger. Finds Mulhall. Pulled Raymond out of position for a moment. Only 2 green shirts in the area. Nice drop of the shoulder here. And fizzes one goal. It's dipping and swerving, and it's all the way in. It's an absolute perler. It left the foot of Izzy Mulhall, I think it was, and she has fizzed that one past the goalkeeper, and the underdogs lead in the Federation Cup final.
And I say game on. That's come. The assist has come from Ross Backen, and what a ball out! You can tell they're trying to create as much as possible in those wide areas, and it's great to see Mulholland. She's not a lefty. She's brought the ball in on her right foot, and she's done that several times in tonight's game. And Lacey's parried it into the net. So pressure's on Belconnen.
Isn't it always the case, Heather? We talked up 16-goal Hughes, 13-goal Roseback, and 45-goal Colville. It's a player who scored 1 goal this season before tonight who breaks the deadlock.
And what a memorable goal it will be. Such a great occasion for her, and it's nice to see Canberra United on top, but it's only going to make these Belconnen players work even harder. And that's such a great ball from Munoz.
And Maguire tries to chip it in. We've got a game on here now. That's the goal that the neutrals wanted. Forces the champions out. Unbeaten all season. Don't think they've been behind in any games I've seen. Oh, they were against Academy in round 15 when Barrach scored very early. And that ended up 5-1 to Belconnen. So they have previous. But cup finals do funny things to teams, don't they?
Exactly. As pressure's on, it's one game wins. And
given away. Colville was almost in there. Sorry, you're saying it's just a one-off matches, anything can happen?
Yeah, exactly. And like we said at the start, it's game on from here. And Belconnen, there's so much experience in the Belconnen team that they'll just keep calm and know that the more they keep playing the ball in behind and more they keep striking the ball on the frame, they can get one back. But at the moment, they're not getting any chances on goal. So Izzy hasn't had too much to do. She hasn't, not much at all. Sally James is the other goalkeeper. She's on the bench today. One of a number of youngsters on the Canberra United bench. Free kick to Belconnen. Thought that was a bit soft. I think Sarah Morgan's been outstanding for Canberra United so far. Her tenacity and her aggression. She's playing left back, but she also drops into the midfield to help out those midfielders. So she's been really good so far in this game. Great engine as well, doesn't she? I saw her in the earlier game of the AIS, and she was up and down, backwards and forwards, and even when the goals were flying in against her, she never gave up. She was still battling. Yeah, exactly. Her mentality and her left foot is definitely her forte. It's a free kick to Belconnen. Mickey Day swings these in quite flat on occasions. She's gone deeper this time. Davy comes, gets half a hand on it. Not enough. It's bouncing around the air. This could go anywhere. It's thundered back off the post. It might fall for Maguire. It's still not cleared. Day strikes it goalwards. It bounces around. Big appeal for handball. The referee waves it away, and Canberra United dodge one. Not sure whose strike it was that hit the post. It's coming straight back again. Munoz might be in over the top here. The flag goes up rather late. And that was a dramatic minute and a half, wasn't it? Absolutely dramatic. A parry by Isabel Davey, and then gives Belconnen half a chance. Hits the post, comes back out. Appeal for a handball. Yeah, Davies down here. I think she copped one in the stomach when she was flailing around on the floor after she didn't quite get enough on that cross. Yeah, exactly. And it'd be heartbreaking for Canberra United to concede now. It's something that good teams can do, is they go behind one and they score within the next 5 minutes. So if they can help things out by not conceding, then it's going to be great. Well, when you look back on things at the end of games, Heather, and you see moments like that where someone strikes a shot, hits the post, there's a goalmouth scramble, you often think back after games and go, are these turning points in games? And it was incredible. 30 seconds or so, we felt for sure that Belconnen would equalise. Even Maguire's return shot looked goal bound till it was blocked goal on the line near enough. Yeah, it was a quality strike, and as Canberra United, you look and you think, oh, lucky it didn't go in. But Belconnen, you think maybe it's just not our night. But I'm sure once they get in the sheds at halftime, Anne will say a thing or two to change a few tactics and gee them up, ready for the second half. Well, we're only midway through the first half, and it's been entertaining so far. Here's Colville. Well, she was in here, and the referee's pulled it back for a free kick. That's interesting. Obviously, I don't think she saw Colville running blindsides of Rashard, because that seemed like a reasonable advantage from where I was stood. She must be that quick. Blindingly fast. Maybe it's these green shirts blending in. Free kick anyway, which will be taken by Horse. 23 minutes gone.
in the match, halfway through the first half. Canberra United lead. Here's Hughes. Goes down under the challenge of Day. No free kick. Williams. Day looks to send it forward towards Maguire. One for her to chase. Across comes Matic. Gets involved nicely. Strong piece of defending. Williams has the loose ball. Tasmanian striker. Came over to trial for Canberra United a couple of years ago. Hung around. Scores bags of goals for Belconnen. Ball in towards Maguire. Looks to nod it down to Williams. Nicely done, but read by Davey. Belconnen coming back into it. It's one for Grove to tackle. Getting stuck in the youngster, but Pike's got about a foot on her in height advantage. Hughes. It's about to say she had an impressive start, hasn't she? And then she slices that one somewhat.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not quite sure if it's a tactic that they're using, but Isabel Davey, as soon as she gets the ball, she just wants to kick it quickly.
Halls gets in the way. Back by Raymond. Jalocka helps it on. And there's the right back, Lawless. Rashard. It's been all Belconnen since they went behind, as you'd expect from the champions.
Yeah, exactly.
Day, but it's been not so much backs to the wall and dogged defending, has it, at the moment? But they've done very well defensively, and their shape's good. Shape's excellent.
In defence, the shape is excellent. And like I said, the only person they leave up front is Aoife Colville.
That one's sent forward, and that'll be easy for Davey, who seems to have recovered from a knock. And as you say, goes early again. Looks for Colville.
I'm not quite sure she's looking for any green players.
Just sending it as far away from her goal as she can at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, Colville has lots of attributes. I'm not sure she's going to beat Rashart in an aerial duel, though.
No.
Here is Rashart.
Wait.
Day. Here's Munoz. Good ball down the wing towards Pike. Tracking back is done by Grove. Here's Munoz again. DeMarco again close to her. Here's Munoz, just brushes aside Grove, who comes back for some more, the youngster. Munoz swings it in, and it's well done by Sasha Grove defensively. I'll tell you what, Heather, I'm intrigued by this midfield battle with Munoz and Day against the youngsters Hughes and Resbach. And it's a really, not a contrast of styles per se, but it's two players that are a bit more experienced, a bit older, and the youthful energy that Hughes and Resbach can bring to it.
Yeah, it's just like I think the women's game has certainly changed its way.
Well, hang on a second, as Colville spins away from Rashard. She's got Grove making the run. She strikes on from distance and never going to trouble the goalkeeper from there. Might have been better sliding in Sasha Grove, but when you've scored as many goals as she has, you can be forgiven for having a pop.
Yeah, I love that confidence about Aoife. I think it's great that she's having to go so far out. But see, just here, Maddie Whittle's receiving the ball in the Belconnen midfield. So for me, they haven't got in behind at all, and her strength is her speed and getting in behind or dribbling 1v1, and she hasn't done that. So I'd love her to see her turn and really shape up to the Canberra United defence and test them.
We've seen a lot of Belconnen this season. They do like to suck teams on and try hit on the break, but when you've got the pace that Canberra United Academy have to get back, it's very difficult sometimes, isn't it? And that's a credit, like you say, to the coaching staff.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan's obviously identified that. He's clever. And if you have a look at the block, the defensive block, the transition, always on transition, there's at least 8 players behind the ball. So they're not able to get in at all. And the spaces to catch at Canberra United are out wide.
Here's Belconnen looking to swing it into the penalty. Ricochets across, and it came off Horse's heel, I think, and it almost fell on the far post for Williams, who was lurking, and Colville sends it forward. Another half chance for Belconnen. It's a good run, I think, by Whittle in the end. Here's Keir. Auntie Jagger and his team dominating possession since they went behind. But it's Canberra United who have the goal. DeMarco sends that forward. Pike picks it off. Here's Munoz, a little bit of space for her to work. Tries to slide in. Williams behind here. Davey comes out in another brave bit of goalkeeping. She started well, Isabel Davey. Colville with Rashard. And Pike was in there too, and Grove gets stuck in. They've talked a lot about Sasha Grove. I spoke to Ryan Grogan about her in the before kickoff, and he has high hopes for her. And you can see early stages, not fazed by the occasion or the opposition, just going out there and enjoying it as you'd expect young players to.
Yeah, she doesn't know. She doesn't know any different. She doesn't know that she just come up against an Olympian in Caitlin Munoz. She doesn't know that she's come up against Canberra United players as well. She just is going to play, and that's the innocence of a youngster, and it's great to see. And you can already see her attributes. She's got really good close dribbling skills. She's quite quick. She's aggressive. She doesn't mind getting stuck in, and her work ethic's been great.
Well, she's in the box here because Colville's behind this free kick, close to the touchline. Plenty of green shirts in there. Not a huge amount of height. Matic is probably the tallest on the far post. Colville swings it in. It's touched goalwards and might fall here for, I think that was Rosebarken getting involved. And she hooked it goalwards. Another half chance. Good free kicking from Colville. Caused issues. Set piece now. Corner, which Rosebarken will take. Can she deliver this time? Grove on the penalty spot. Matic making the late run to the 6-yard box. One at the front post by Jaloka. Ball's back to DeMarco. Looking to lift one over the top, and Pike was there. Now Belconnen on the break. This is what we were talking about. Williams looking for Maguire. Morgan's there to stop her in her track zone. That's a good piece of defending by Morgan. It slowed it down. Maguire finds Day, sends it wide towards Munoz on that left foot, and she wound back the years with that one. Didn't quite catch it though, which is interesting what you were saying about Sasha Grove earlier. I was talking to you off air about fear and how it's inbuilt into people. They don't player this young probably doesn't know that Belconnen have won 8 championships in a row, and like you say, playing against these players, doesn't know no reputations there or anything about that. Just goes out there and plays what she sees.
Yeah, exactly. And we use that E word, the expectation. So once there's expectation put on players, people tend to want to live up to that expectation, whereas a youngster there's no expectation, so you just go out and play. I've seen that many times in my career, and probably the one player that stands out at me is definitely a player that played for Canberra United. That's Sally Shippard in the Olympic Games in Athens in 2000 and when was it? 2004
2004 I think. Yeah, 2004. Yeah.
So she's one that had no expectation. She was outstanding. She was only 16 at the time.
Mistake there by Lacey. Here's Colville looking to burst her way through. Couldn't quite do it. But defensively, Belconnen looking a little shaky. They need to settle themselves down. Here's Rashart. And when you don't have that fear of reputations, you don't have that psychological barrier, do you? Of going out there and going, we've played these teams 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, we've never won. These players will be maybe the second or third time they play Belconnen. They know how good they are.
Yeah.
They know they're a decent side, but like you said, no fear. And we're seeing it at the moment. They lead 1-0. Mulhall's goal. Whittle towards Williams. Munoz. Day in midfield. Hounded by Hughes. Just doing shuttles between the two of them, and she's still not getting tired. Rosebarken with a foot in. DeMarco helps it away. Jaloka's there. Might fall for Williams in the penalty area, and Morgan was back there defending and gets the goal kick.
In terms of Canberra United's defensive discipline, you can just see there's a block of 4 and 4, and for Belconnen to try and break that down, they need to either bring them wide to draw them out and allow them to be unorganised in the midfield, but they're not doing that. They're trying to go directly through the guts, and it's not working. Morgan's ball down the line. Here's a chance again for Mulhall, who's the goal scorer. Bursting into the penalty area, she's getting a tug from Raymond, tries to roll it across the Colville. Might come for Grove, who got the left foot shot away, and Lacey was there, but another scintillating break from the academy. And the transition's been exceptional, and you can see it's get the ball out wide, get the crosses in. And that's Ellie Raymond. She's got the wheels on there at fullback, and she's no slouch. Played a bit of W League football herself back in the early years. Colville looks to get it back again, and Young Grove just didn't have the strength in the legs to get the shot away on the left foot, did she? No, not at all. But pick the run and pick the position one. There's Hughes again, who's been absolutely brilliant in the early stages. We're over half an hour now. Still 1-0. Morgan back to DeMarco. Matic wide. Looking for an option forward. Looks for Hughes. It's going to come for Colville. Grove's peeled away.
Here is Grove. Lovely spin on Lee's pike for dead. Sasha Grove still going, runs into Keir. Fantastic piece of skill, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great to see it. It's fantastic. We talk about no fear. It would have been great for her to see her pull the trigger, but just the confidence in the kid.
There was a half-hearted shout for a penalty, I think, from the academy bench. More in hope than expectation.
Definitely wasn't a penalty.
But similar to the goal she got against Olympic the other week, where she spun a defender on the edge of the box and absolutely leathered it past the goalkeeper. It's just that centre of gravity just to spin away. Impressed by what we're seeing so far. Here's Raymond in a battle as well. Going to win herself a free kick. 10 minutes to half-time, and since going behind, Belconnen have threatened. They've hit the post once, but other than that, the defensive block, as you said, from Canberra Academy doing its job.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to see the left and right back from Belconnen to bomb on, and then that what happens is that then makes the 7-11, the two wide winger players, drop off, and then that can create space in behind. And at the moment, they're not. They're playing four at the back, and there's no one making that third man run.
How much is that by necessity, though? I've seen Belconnen do this a lot this season, where, as you said, Raymond and Pike like to spin away and run and play forward on the overlap, but with the pace of Grove and Mulhall on the break, maybe they're just being a little bit cautious that they don't want to be caught short at the back.
Yeah, possibly. But what happens is Grove's going to track ultimately Pike. So if she tracks her, then it's just a matter of shuffling the three defenders over to make it's a 3v2 situation. So, and I'm sure they got the confidence in their ability.
Well, not only seeing an excellent football match, we're seeing a fascinating tactical battle as well. Glad to have Heather Garriock with us, explaining the intricacies of what's going on. Here's Grove looking to challenge with Bronte Pike. It's been one of a number of one-on-one battles that have been key so far this evening. Grove again putting her foot in. Decent support for the academy. Munoz, DeMarco not letting us rest, and there's Matic. Whittle goes down, slip more than a foul. Hughes to Colville, back to Hughes again. This build-up's good. There's Day. And Hughes, the tenacity, sensational stuff out wide. Mulhall again.
That has to be a foul.
It's got to be a free kick, it is.
Yeah.
Right on the edge of the box.
This is good timing for Canberra United.
Well, 10 minutes before the break, this would be an ideal time if they could notch another one. Really would have a final on our hands then.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who takes a free kick, who backs themselves. Efi's got the ball in her hand.
Doesn't mind the set piece, does she? If she can whip this one in.
Exactly, and look at the height of Lacey.
She's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world. We try not to mention it too often. She doesn't like it when we mention her height.
She's got a big heart, though, big heart.
She's marshalling her defences. She'll be on her toes.
The far post is open.
Well, let's see what she does with it. Whips it towards that far post, and it didn't quite have the dip. If it did, it was trouble all the way for Belconnen.
Exactly.
Lacey gets us going quickly. Here's Pike. Not really a sense of urgency just yet. Still a long way to go, of course. Rashart today. Jalocka. He's floated in and out of it so far.
If Jalocka picked up that ball and played it first time or second time, then they would have got out on the other side, and that's what she just got herself free just then in the midfield, and that's what Belconnen needs to do a lot more of.
Raymond with the throw. Been putting under a lot of pressure tonight. Early Raymond defensively. Gets it back from Jalocka. Looks to send it in towards Williams. Nice turn that. Still going, Jesse Williams. Into the penalty area. Slaloming run from Williams. He's still going. Goes down on the edge of the box. An appeal from Jagarinik on the bench. Comes back. Swung into the penalty area, and Davey gets the body behind it. Raymond's ball in, and good goalkeeping again from Davey, who once more doesn't mess around. Looks to send it forward. Rashart wins it, and that's a lovely touch from Munoz. And she's tried her luck from distance. The bounce on this is interesting. That would have been sensational if Munoz had found the target from there.
40 yards out.
It's like this early and long goal kicking, which we're seeing just again here, Heather. It's not really working with the height on the Belconnen defence. Do you think it's a tactic that Ryan Grogan might change?
I hope Ryan's not behind that tactic. Maybe he's behind the try and kick it as early as possible, but try and find one of the players, because at the moment, as soon as they pick it up, it's a transition moment that we...
Do you think it might be a question of the execution from Davey rather than the tactic at the moment?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think Ryan said to Iz, get it up there as quickly as possible, make sure you try and find the feet of a player, but every time it's found one of the Belconnen players.
It's hard for Colville playing against the 4 at the moment. She's leading the line well, though, and DeMarco, one of these 3 midfielders, has been star workers for the academy.
Yeah, the key here is Canberra United's definitely playing a transitional game, so keeping their defence strong, but also on the transition trying to catch them out, because ultimately Belconnen want to play football, want to play nice possession-based football, but it doesn't always work like that.
Matic, who ran the ball out, wins the header. Day's there. DeMarco blocks it. Colville tries to just help it away. Rush out to Keir. Belconnen putting the press on. You can see more blue shirts ahead of the ball now than there have been for quite some time, but Keir gives it away. It's won back by Maguire. Matic hooks that in the air. Day, nice touch. Nice turn too. Munoz.
Look, there's the cue there for the left back Pike to be able to go and link up, because Maddie Whittle's playing so narrow. So she plays narrow, then that opens up space on the flanks for the left and right back.
It's unusual not to see Pike take up that offer as well.
Especially against a 13-year-old, I'd be bombing on all day and seeing what the youngster does. At the moment, she's giving her job defensively an easy job.
Well, as I mentioned, it's a one-on-one battle at the moment. Groves edging.
Absolutely.
Looking very good. If you forced your full-back back, especially one that scored 9 goals this season, you're doing your job well. And you can see why Ryan Grogan selected her. Here's Rashart. Munoz finding a little bit more space than she has so far. Day. But again, there's 6 green shirts back defensively. Could she slide one through towards Pike? Overhit again, and
had that ball been pinpoint on Pike's foot, she would have got in behind. Again, Little Grove, she's quality in attack, but in defence you don't get taught how to defend when you're a youngster. So for me, Pike could have got in if it was a quality ball. That's what we need to see more of from Belconnen's perspective, I think.
Don't get taught defensively at all if you're me, Heather.
Yeah.
I hated tracking back.
It's called almost similar to selective hearing. It's selective defending, I call it. It's defend if you want to defend, especially if you're an attacker.
I think the higher up you go the ladder, though, the more you got to do it.
Oh, Sam Kerr's a perfect example. While she scores all the goals, she works so hard in defence.
You see it from all the world's best players, don't you? They put a shift in at both ends of the park.
Exactly.
And you've got to do that if you want to succeed, and these Canberra United girls will have higher expectations than where they are today. Many of them will be wanting to push on to W League and international honours.
Absolutely, it's great, and it's great to see a pathway here in Canberra being able to do that.
Of which Heather Garriock, my co-commentator, whose voice you can hear, is a main part of, the Canberra United head coach. Big season of W League football ahead, whenever that may be.
Yeah, kick off the weekend of October 25th, so very exciting times. Not long to go. Pre-season will start in 4 or 5 weeks or so exciting stuff.
Squad slowly being built?
Certainly has, 75% built. My internationals are locked up, so that's fantastic. So exciting times.
Lauren Keir with a free kick. Opportunity for Belconnen to flood the penalty area with shirts as we approach the final 4 minutes of the first half in the Federation Cup final here on a Wednesday night in Canberra. Keir, it's a close one, and Davey Combs gets a hand on it, doesn't get enough on it, but she was nudged, I think, by the onrushing Munoz, and it took her eye off the ball. She looked a little shaky in the air, Izzy Davey, a couple of times, hasn't she? Yeah,
she has, and just that once the ball's a little bit over her head, then she struggles under pressure. But really good run there by Munoz.
Decent knock in from Keir as well.
Yeah.
Here's Grove, flicks it onto herself, and she's got the pace to get away from Pike. Looks for the first time ball forward towards Colville, and it just came off of Rashart and took it away into the path of Nat Lacey. Part of the Canberra United build-up this year has been the winter programme, Heather, and now that's been seen quite a lot of local players showing you their stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's been fantastic to see. I've got probably about 8 or 9 girls part of the winter program that are on the field today, and it's a good opportunity for those girls, those local girls in all different clubs, to be able to come in and train a couple of nights a week with myself and in an elite environment. So it's great.
Ball sent forwards, and Davey comes again, doesn't get enough of it once more, and Williams tries to pocket it back goalwards, but it's going to drop over the crossbar. Often what I find about those things as well, Heather, is then they could take that back to their clubs, and there's a little bit of an improvement across what the clubs are doing as well, perhaps. And
yeah, for sure. And it's also open to coaches to come in, and I've got Ant that comes in on a Monday night and runs some of the sessions as well, and sees what I'm doing and sees my philosophy, especially come Canberra United as well. So it's been fantastic so far. Now there's a complete pathway from our SAP girls at 8 and 9 years old right up until Canberra United, and no other clubs doing that, especially around the country.
Kia sends it forward, bounces up, and it's unfortunate for young DeMarco, but this is in a really promising position for Belconnen United. We've seen how Davey struggled a couple of times with the high ones, and Mickey Day and Caitlin Munoz will be lining up for the opportunity. It's probably the right distance as well to get a bit of dip on it.
Yeah, it's slightly to the left, so it's the right pegger that would take this, but I wonder if Munoz fancies the chances. I've seen Mickey Day put one away earlier on in the season, so...
Well, she definitely can strike them from here. Has Munoz pulled rank, though? We will see. It's either the right foot of Day or the left of Munoz. It is Munoz, and it's straight down the throat of Davey, who positioned herself well and did well and gets rid of it as well. 30 seconds left of the first half plus stoppage time. Look at the chase on here by Morgan from the defensive left-hand side of the field to the opposite corner. That is some sensational engine. Great pace and great tenacity to put the pressure on win her side of throw-in.
Yeah, exactly. I think that ties in with the quick ball out of the hands from Isabel Davey as well. So that must be a tactic, most definitely.
DeMarco looks for Morgan. Back to Matic. Looks for the run of Mulhall, whose goal after 19 minutes separates the teams here into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Some excited youngsters from one of the local clubs ready to come on at half-time. Here's a chance around the back here for Whittle. First time she's got in. Maddie Whittle, and she equalises for Belconnen United in stoppage time at the end of the first half. It's a heartbreaking goal for Canberra United, but that's champion quality. We're all square here.
That is the first time in 45 minutes of playing that Caitlin Munoz has picked up the ball. Maddie Whittle has been on the back line and been able to play the ball in behind. She almost put it on a dime there for Maddie Whittle, but Maddie had plenty of work to do, and she cut in front of the defender and finished off the goal. What a great goal from Belconnen United.
And a timely time to score. That changes the half-time chats a little bit, and like I said, a heartbreaker for Ryan Grogan and his team, who've defended so well so far. So we're all square. We're no closer to finding out who's going to win the Federation Cup. On the balance of their play, you'd probably say that Belconnen deserved an equaliser just by dominating the possession. They hadn't created too many openings.
No, exactly, and no doubt Ian will go in at half-time and he'll say he wants more of that, and that's Maddie sitting on the back line or on the left-hand side of the centre-back, and Munoz will play her in every single day of the week.
His day. Belconnen ending the half on a high. Whittle, the goal scorer, goes past Lawless, looks to find in Mickey Day on that left foot. She slipped at the vital moment, otherwise she may have been lining one up.
I think she meant to slide. She doesn't have much of a left foot, Mickey Day, but a good opportunity there.
And that brings the end to a breathless 45 minutes. Heather, it's been an entertaining game. The goal from the youngster Mulhall giving the Academy the lead, and then right on half-time there, an equalising goal from Maddie Whittle suggests maybe psychologically the advantage is with Belconnen as well, but there's much to play for.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Belconnen got in at the right time. It would have been a different discussion at half-time had it been 1-0 up, so you can see the disappointment on the faces of some of the Canberra United girls, but no doubt Ryan will build them back up and bring them back out there. But for Belconnen, 1-1, I'm sure they'll be happy with that going into the break.
I'm sure they will, because at one stage it looked like they were going to go in behind. Thanks for your comments in the first half, Heather. We're going to have a quick break. We'll be back for the second half of the Federation Cup final. We're at McKellar Park here in Canberra on a cool Wednesday night at half-time. It's Belconnen 1, the Canberra United Academy 1. Welcome back to McKellar Park in the second half of the Women's Federation Cup final for 2018, here live on Bar TV Sports. At half-time, it's 1 goal apiece between Belconnen United and Canberra United, the two best teams in the women's competition here in Canberra, judging by the league table. They were 1 and 2 to start the start of the evening, and they will stay that way ahead of their final league game. But it's all about the cup football, and this evening, joining me in the commentary box for the second half, as she did in the first half, is Canberra United head coach and Matilda's legend, Heather Garriock. And Heather, first half was a contrast of styles, as we said, but two sides that were willing to play football. How crucial was that goal from Maddie Whittle in stoppage time?
Yeah, it's crucial, definitely, especially to build confidence for that Belconnen side going into the break. And like we said before we went in, the conversation is now going to be completely different with Anne and completely different with Ryan Grogan as well. So for Belconnen, they believe they've won so many times, they've won so many championships that they believe they can go on and win this game. And now it's put a little bit of lack of hope in Canberra United, but no doubt Ryan's going to G him up for the second half for them to continue to play really good football and be able to outpossess Belconnen.
Belconnen United out there very early in a huddle, ready to go. Their team, as it was at the end of the first half, I can't see any changes in that huddle as yet. Lacey in goal, Raymond, Rashart, Keir and Pike, Munoz, Day and Jalocka, Whittle, Williams and Maguire. Looks like there's going to be a change in goal for Canberra United, Heather. Looks like Sally James is going to replace Izzy Davey, so maybe she didn't quite recover from that knock in the first half.
Yeah, it could have been the knock, or possibly the several balls that come head high and she's parried. So it's great to give young Sally James an opportunity, especially in the second half. Both of them are very up-and-coming keepers, and it'd be good to see how Sally goes in the second half.
So Canberra United will line up with James in goal, Lawless, Halls, Matic and Morgan. Midfield three of DeMarco, Hughes and Rosebacken, who've been mightily impressive. 13-year-old Sasha Grove, 45 goalie for Colville, and the goal scorer, Izzy Mulhall, up front. There we go, lovely piece of fourth officiating by Harriet G to tell us that number 16, Sally James, will replace number 1, Izzy Davey. The first of several changes we probably see. The benches this evening, Belconnen United, Karen Clark, Jordan Beaton, Gemma Murphy, Alex Martins and Brittany Smale. And on the Canberra United bench, 15-year-old Annie Grove, 14-year-old Mia McGovern, 14-year-old Jordi Ujda and youngster as well, Demi Nikias. So some very young talent on that Canberra United bench.
A really good experience for the Canberra United youngsters, but in saying that, if they need a goal, then it's going to be hard for Ryan to look at the bench for them to make an impact.
Well, it's Canberra United in the green that get us underway in the second half. Their lead was dashed in stoppage time by Belconnen. Maguire looking to squeeze it through towards Williams, Matic in the way, up towards Colville. They've kept her relatively quiet today, the Belconnen defence. Grove. Hughes will be pushing for player of the match in the first half. Laura Hughes.
Yeah, definitely. She's very safe, and not just in today's game, but just the whole competition. She's been outstanding this season, bossing the midfield for Canberra United.
She is battling in midfield, and Colville wins it and then goes down. Mickey Day made sure that Colville was going nowhere. And Rosbakken tried to get us underway quickly. She's going to get the second opportunity to take the free kick. Your match officials, Lauren Hargrave in the middle, Carlina Mullett and Aisha Strutt, the two assistants, along with Harriet G, who's the fourth official. Halls with the free kick. Looks to send it towards Grove. Misjudged bounce there, and Sasha Grove tries to swing it goalwards, and coming across to defend was Rashart. It's a corner. Good start for the academy. Don't look too fazed by the concession of the goal on half-time.
No doubt they're going to go out in the next 10 or 15 minutes to try and push hard to try and score another goal, put Belconnen under the pump.
It's a set piece swung in towards the middle. The header's there on the near post. There's a great opportunity for Matic, who ghosted in and got a good piece on it as well, and she'd be disappointed she's not hit the target.
Absolutely, and some really good shape on that, really good delivery, good shape, and I thought it was in. Good sign for Canberra United.
Would have been the perfect start to the second half, wouldn't it, for them? Matic with the header. Worryingly for Belconnen was the ease with which she managed to sneak in. Probably unforgivable, really, for Antti Jagarinik. She's the obvious target, isn't she? She's the tallest one in their team.
Yeah, exactly. The team full of short players, but then you got Matic, who's nice and tall.
Yeah, and they didn't pick up the only one who's probably going to offer that much of an aerial threat, to be fair. Anyway, they got away with it. Here's Munoz, skipping away from the challenge of Hughes. Chasing back is Mulhall. DeMarco read it well. She's played well in midfield too. That's a nice touch from Colville to get away and tries to slide Grove in. And Pikes misjudged it. Here's Grove. Look, push and run. Old school piece of wing play.
She might have got away with that in the under-17s, but unfortunately she won't in the first grade against the women. But some really good play. What a touch there from Aoife Colville. Honestly, her confidence is oozing out of her. She does that so well, that touch across the body.
Sydney standing out. She's not been able to get into a goal threat yet, but with that kind of form that she's in, you wouldn't bet against her if she does. Here's Morgan, who's been a bundle of energy throughout. DeMarco, a lot of space out wide, but tracking back well was Jaloka. It's a heavy touch by Rosbakken, probably her first of the game. And then she follows through on Mickey Day, probably a little bit annoyed with herself for that touch. Not often we see a miscontrol a ball like that. There's Munoz. You get a feeling she's going to have a big say in the outcome of this, and that was almost a good-looking ball over the top, and fortunately for the academy, Lawless got a toe on it, took most of the pace off the ball.
And the more Caitlin Munoz gets a head up, receives the ball there and tries to hit the ball in behind, the more Canberra United is going to drop, and then that's going to allow space then for the likes of Mickey Day and Jaloka to get in there in those pockets.
Belconnen on the front foot. Whittle. And out wide, Pike was involved too. Ball's broken in midfield, and the academy could try and bring it away, but Raymond's here for the Blue Devils. And a lovely piece of defending by Morgan again, but Raymond won't give it up. Nicely done by the fullback. And she gets another opportunity. Tired swing of the leg. And then just concedes the free kick rather unnecessarily. But just a little snapshot there of what Ellie Raymond could do in an attacking sense. And you mentioned it earlier on with both fullbacks. They like to get forward and they've hardly had the opportunity to do so. Yeah,
and Raymond, I've seen in numerous games this season, she's really good. She's got good pace and can get up and down that line. So it'd be good to see her challenge Sarah Morgan there at left back.
I think Morgan had the better of that battle in the first half. Yeah, she's been another one who's been highly impressive.
Yeah, she has. She stood out tonight for me. She's been excellent. Her work rate and aggression and aggressive runs have been excellent.
It's a bit of a wayward touch by Mulhall. Williams tries to help it on its way, but Lawless was there. Grove with a cushion header, looking for Colville. Bit of pace from Colville and good tracking back by Rushart. And Kia can tidy up. Day picking the ball up deep. Raymond. There's Morgan, just the tenacity that we saw before, and forces the mistake from the Belconnen defender. You can see that you don't let players rest on the ball, Heather. You can give them up, make them force them into errors. You don't have to make the tackle, do you?
No, not at all. And just putting them under pressure and sprinting out, and that's what they've done. They've put direct pressure on the ball tonight, and more often than not, Belconnen have coughed it up.
Rosbakken's ball forward. Here is Raymond. Loses out to Mulhall. Tries to find Colville in behind. Colville's going in for it, and Lacey came and got there, and there's a bit of collision between Colville and Lacey, and both of them have stayed down. It was knee on knee, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not nice to see when two players go down. Both of them, it was 50-50. It was no one's fault. Hopefully they both get up.
Neither the bench showing any concern at all here.
Yeah, no one warming up whatsoever.
None of the physios up either. It's just like, man, get on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're watching live Federation Cup final football here on Bar TV Sports. Midweek action from the nation's capital. It's Canberra United 1, Belconnen United 1. The league champions Belconnen United, 6 of the last 7 Federation Cup winners. Unbeaten in 20 games this season. 7 clean sheets in a row. It's some quality from Belconnen United. against the Canberra United side, who have 51 goals in the last 10 games and are on an 8-match winning streak as well. So 1-1 just about right at the moment, and plenty of time for either of the side to stamp their authority on this final. Williams finds Munoz, looks for the run of day, hasn't got forward as much as she would have liked, but that's a nice ball in behind towards Whittle.
That's a clever ball, that reverse ball.
Turns and twists in the area, and that's a good piece of defending from Lawless as well. Here's Colville and Rashard again. They've had a running battle throughout the game. Colville's got it this time. And
to be fair, Rashard has definitely kept up with Colville. She's trying to push the ball past her, and she's been very aggressive, been very good at the back with Kerr.
The Belconnen defence, who've conceded only 5 all season before tonight, so 6 goals conceded this season. Takes a lot to score a goal against them, so you're doing well if you get at least one, and the Academy need another if they're going to win this. Beaten 5-2, remember, in last year's final. Here's Raymond.
It's not easy to defend the way they've defended Canberra United. It takes a lot of discipline.
Free kick. Whittle went down. Lauren Hargrave decides it's a free kick, and again this is in a dangerous position in the first half. Munoz tried her luck. This is a left-footed one as well, you'd think.
Yeah, this is definitely left-footed, but I reckon Mickey Day is going to put a hand up and say, you had the last one, it's my turn to have this one.
Well, Day was the right-footed faker last time, and Munoz struck it. This is definitely within range for either of the two midfield generals for the Blue Devils.
Look at that right-hand side opened up.
Here's Munoz. It's a fizzing strike, and it was thunderous as well, and it flew over the crossbar. Sally James looked unperturbed.
No,
whether she had it covered, I'm not sure.
Not quite sure she had it covered, but anyway, it was a great strike, just sailed over the bar.
She didn't look bothered, did she?
No.
She was either very confident it was going over the bar, or she's like, well, I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
Either or. Didn't go in, so that's the important thing. Maguire tried to win the header. Here is Munoz. Back to Day. And that's a good ball forward, and here's a runner in the area. It's Williams in there, and that's a good piece of keeping by James. Needed to be, and there's the early kick again, so it's obviously something that they have worked on.
It's not easy for a keeper to come in and at half time and come in and settle into the game, and Sally James has done that. Really good.
Morgan wanted to get on with it. Referee won't let her. Morgan's probably quite happy about that because it didn't go anywhere near where she wanted it to go.
Exactly. Try again.
She was looking for the run of Mulhall, wasn't she? And didn't quite pick her out.
She was, and you can see Canberra United try and take those quick free kicks, get Belconnen out of position very quickly.
It'll be Hall's turn this time, and she sends it forward. Won by Pike. Here's Williams. A little bit of space for her to work. She's got Maguire making the run outside her. Tracking back is Lawless. Still going, Maguire. And she may have won herself a corner here. She has.
So just chatting before just about the defensive discipline in the block, it's very difficult to continue to maintain the concentration to defend like that for 90 minutes of the game, and you can just see Belconnen's popping up with the ball a little bit more often than not.
Well, they were very dangerous in the league game from set pieces. Jessie Rashard scored with a header off a corner at the AIS. They're queuing up on the back stick as well. See what Maguire can do. It's a rather loopy cross. It was won by Rashard, but headed it nowhere near where she wanted to go.
Several players of Belconnen that were free at the back post.
Fortunately for the Academy, didn't make it. Here's Grove. Just pushed off the ball. Jalocca. Munoz. Thought about it from range. And the Academy know exactly what she was trying to do. They closed it down quick. Here's Jalocca battling around with it with Grove. It's going to fall for Maguire. Belconnen looking to turn the screw, and Pike kicks it out. We got a bit of a knock to Rosebarken, I think. She's just adjusting a shin pad, or she's limping a little bit there, Heather. She's limping a little bit on the left leg, doesn't she?
Maybe a bit of a knock.
Yeah, bit of a knock in the midfield battle. It's the knocks of war that she's going to get throughout her career, being the kind of combative midfielder that she is as well. Lovely touch too.
For sure.
Ball forward towards Whittle. Talking of good touches, that's a cracker. Spins away, Madeline Whittle finds Maguire on the overlap. Goes for the return, but Maguire didn't get enough on it, and it's a corner.
Belconnen this half has definitely bossed the midfield. You can tell the confidence they've come in the break and built confidence from that goal just before half time, and then you can tell Munoz, Mickey Day's got on the ball and Jalocka's got on the ball, and they're starting to play in between Canberra United.
Maguire's going to take this set piece. The last one was rather loopy. Can she get a bit more whip on this? Again, Heaps on the back post. Swung it to the near post was Rashart. Matic was there. And it's just been cleared. Grove gamely gives chase. Maguire almost helped that round the corner and timely intervention. Here comes Rosebuck, and if she did have a knock, it's all gone now. Here's Grove. Keir wins it. Sometimes Grove's touch has let her down on a couple of occasions, but as you said, she's only 13, so not much experience there. Here's Whittle looking to take on Matic. It's a lovely ball in from Whittle, and it just missed Jalocka. Delightful cross, just eluded Jalocka's forehead.
It's a great run down the line and great ball in.
Pressure's coming on. Here's Munoz, breaks for Whittle, and she couldn't get enough on the shot, and straight at James. Let off for the academy, and they turn over the ball. They've been second best for most of the second half so far. As you said, it's bags of energy and youthfulness in this side, Heather, and as you said, it's difficult to defend for that 90 minutes, but they will put a lot of effort in.
Yeah, exactly, and little reverse balls like we've seen from the midfielders from Belconnen, and killer passes this last 5 or 10 minutes has broken Canberra United's defence several times, but this will be a good change, fresh change.
It's Molly Lawless coming off. Just trying to find who's coming on. I haven't got a 29 on my team sheet. I think it's Mia McGovern, in fact, for Lawless. So the 14-year-old defender comes on. Straight change, I think, Heather. Defender for a defender.
Yeah, I think
there's a free kick there. Matic penalised for the foul on Whittle. Fair to say she didn't agree.
No, it looks like she didn't agree, but it's great to see there's a really good battle on our hands here, and it's been really good to see, especially on this left-hand side, Sarah Morgan versus Maddie Whittle.
We've got half an hour to go in the Federation Cup final. It's 1-1. Heather will be hoping there's no extra time because your feet seem a bit cold.
Toes are freezing. I need to get some thermal socks here in Canberra. Running on the spot.
Keir swings it into the penalty area. If you do the commentary again, next time you come more prepared. 14 pairs of socks is what you need at McKellar.
I bought my gloves.
You need those big chunky woolen ones that you play in. That one's up towards you. Almost saw the Garriock touch there for a moment.
Yeah, it would have been volleyed back out.
No, my luck, it would have bounced straight back off the fence right into my face. There's Mulhall, finds Morgan, shoving the back there from Munoz, and hardly subtle, that one. I mean, I'm no referee, but even I could give that.
Nah, it's just cheeky from Munoz there to Morgan.
Morgan, who's been one of the standouts for Canberra United this evening, as she has been for most of the year, to be fair. McGovern's touch. Sent forward, Mulhall would have gone and then come back again. It's a bit of a loose one into midfield, and Hughes tried to get involved, but Jalocka just spun away from the attempted tackle. Tries to find Williams. Good tracking back from DeMarco, helping out her defence.
The reason why Belconnen are getting a little bit more joy this second half is obviously they're playing the ball a lot quicker, but the lines, Canberra United keep dropping quite deep, and the lines in between, they're starting to find spaces in between the lines, and they're getting a lot of joy out of that. So it's a matter of Canberra United communicating to one another and pushing up and dropping off.
It's a throw in which Raymond will take. Finds Williams. Rashart. Day's turn. Pike out wide. Was touch from Maguire, back to the fullback. Pike advancing in a menacing manner for a moment, but has to go back to Day. Looks to find Munoz's touch. Whittle was in there, brought it down nicely and gets away from the marker. This is promising, fires it across. And Canberra United tried to clear. It's going to break back perhaps for Munoz, who was challenging, and Colville wins a free kick. I tell you what, Heather, I don't know what they put in this coffee that you brought at half time, but we're 20 minutes in the second half and it is still baking hot. They must have about 1,000,000 degrees. It was good.
And my hot chocolate's freezing.
When your hot chocolate was freezing,
someone's stitching us up.
You got the wrong tub. I think I got all of the heat out of your coffee. It's keeping my hands warm anyway.
Oh, that's good.
Can't drink it, but
that's a clever foul there from Lauren Kerr. She knew that Efi turned her.
Yeah, took one for the team there. Free kick to the academy. Matic at the back. It's to send it forward towards Grove, but Pike's having the better of that battle in the second half. Grove definitely had her on toast a couple of times in the first half, especially with one fantastic spin on the edge of the box. Here's Keir. Looks for Williams. Hulse was in quickly. Day. Keir once more. And Matic, who is a real leader at the back there in the Canberra United Academy team. That's a bit short. Now here's Colville to do most of it on her own. She's got Grove with her. And Colville looks to give it back again, but Pike's got the measure of Grove in this second half, Heather.
Yeah, I think she does. And Grove she's got good feet, and maybe she's getting a little bit tired, but it'd be great to see her try and make a few aggressive runs in behind, just so it puts Pike out of position. But she's staying in front of her, especially this second half.
Well, she's 13 years old. At this time of night, at 13, I was in bed.
Absolutely.
I wasn't playing in cup finals.
School tomorrow.
Here's Raymond chipping it into the penalty area. Yeah, my mum had us tucked up, ready to go. Entertaining cup final we're watching here live on Bar TV Sports. There is Grove looking to take on Pike. Touch was a bit heavy on that occasion and Pike's got involved, but Grove, to her credit, wins it back. Allows the academy to start again. It's dropping shoulder and change of acceleration out wide.
She's lightning quick, Rossbacken.
Yeah, Rossbacken, yeah.
She, it's very rare to find an athlete that's lightning quick and also got very big guns, and in terms of conditioning, and her fitness, endurance is exceptional.
From a standing start there as well.
Yeah.
Just drop the shoulder and the acceleration straight away.
Yeah,
Usain Bolt-like, dare I say.
Usain Bolt, Central Coast Mariners, will they sign him? That's the question.
Ball swung into the penalty area. Chance for the header from Matic again. I'm going to say no to your question there, Heather. Here's Grove. Cynical in me says it's all a marketing ploy. Yeah. And it's doing a great job because everyone's talking about it. Swung into the air. Real chance here on the far post, and that is a very important piece of defending. The ball's still alive. Morgan's there, and that's a thumping challenge from Keir to get it away. Lovely cross into the penalty area again. Here's Maguire. DeMarco's battling away with her, and Stella DeMarco does very well. What a ball into the area there.
Absolutely. For me, that was a diving header. Put your body on the line there instead of swinging your right foot. Definitely a diving header, but the defending there from Lauren Kerr, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Outstanding.
That's Heather Garriock talking about the diving headers. 20 goals for Matilda, so she knows what she's talking about. Any diving headers amongst that lot that you can remember?
Probably not in the big games, but at training you definitely put your body on the line.
Day wants to go early, and Hughes meant sure she wasn't going to. Diving headers always look great, don't they, if they come off?
Yeah, and if they don't come off, then you look a bit silly and got a bit of a graze on your stomach, but that's okay. At least you tried.
Absolutely. It's a lovely ball, wasn't it? Inviting that kind of contact.
Definitely.
Well, Mickey Day's pulled rank on this one. Munoz had the last 2. Will she go for goal? It's interesting angle. She may well.
She'll definitely go for goal.
She's got options on the far post. In fact, she's chipped one in towards Jalocka. It might fall for Whittle, who's battling, and that's a good piece of defending as well. Fooled us all. I thought Day might try a sneaky one over the wall there.
For sure. Again, that right-hand side was well open.
Raymond will take the throw. The pressure has been mostly blue since half-time. But the academy standing firm at the moment. Maguire, Munoz runs into the defender, and the referee gives a penalty.
You've got to be kidding. You have got to be kidding.
Well, a huge moment in the match. Munoz pushed the ball past the defender. It looked to me like she just ran into her, to be honest.
Nah.
And that is a penalty.
Certainly not a penalty.
Massive call by Lauren Hargrave. And Caitlin Munoz has won herself a penalty, and throughout her entire career, I doubt she's got one that's been as soft as that.
Yeah. Nah, it's just disappointing. Canberra United have certainly been in it, but let's see how Sally James goes.
Well, the substitute goalkeeper is facing up to the left foot of Caitlin Munoz. Last time I saw Munoz take a penalty, she hit the post with it. The academy will be hoping that she does the same. Caitlin Munoz against Sally James. For Belconnen United, never in doubt for the Blue Devils midfielder. It may have been soft, but they're 2-1 up.
They certainly are. That was a great penalty. Easy, left peg, left-hand side of the goal. Goalkeeper didn't even make a save. But really disappointing.
You hope before big games, Heather, you're not talking about big refereeing decisions, and that one was a big one. It wasn't clear-cut by any stretch of the imagination, was it?
No, it wasn't at all. And look, had Munoz fallen over, she didn't even fall over, and normally she's quite clever and experienced, and if she thought it was a penalty, she would have fallen over. But
well, usually you get an appeal or two from the players, isn't it? But no one seemed to appeal.
No, exactly. So anyway, can't take it back. Let's see the character of Canberra United.
Yeah, what's done is done, and what it is 2-1 Belconnen United. 20 minutes or so to play. Can the academy find their way back into it? Here is Munoz, Day, Morgan. Bit of violence through that clearance from Sarah Morgan. A little bit of frustration there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was, and they'd all be deflated from that. But it's how they react to this, and this is where the leaders are important, especially in this young age group. Players that have been at that next level, playing for their country in under-20s or whatever, and that's Ross Back and Hughesy's done that, Morgan's done that, so let's see how they go.
Nice turn by McGovern in midfield. 3 blue shirts around her straight away though. Day. Little niggle by Hughes. There's probably more in that tackle than there was in the penalty, to be fair. It's Williams, that's nicely done. Got away from Halls, but not away from Matic. It's a bit rough. I don't want to harp on about it, Heather, but it's a very rough call on a side that's defended incredibly well so far.
Yeah, they have, and referees can change games, and it's just the players, they just can't dwell on it. They've got another 20 minutes to go to get one back. And
Raymond into Whittle, looking to twist and turn and find the shot away. She does, but straight at James again. And they're going to get calls like that throughout their career, aren't they? It's inevitable.
There's been many calls, especially when you're overseas and playing and you're playing for sheep stations. The referees are always going to make unusual calls, but you just got to get on with it. That's part of your job.
Well, Lauren Hargrave obviously saw something in it, and she gave the penalty. It's the reason she's in the middle. She's had a good season as a match official. There'll be plenty of green persuasion that will argue that tonight, though. And there's a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. Foul on Whittle, who's come alive since she scored, really, isn't she? She was quiet until she equalised, and the second half she's been buzzing around up there like we know she can do.
Yeah, exactly. And Maddie was quiet, and then she got a half chance, and you give her half a yard and she'll take the opportunity because, again, she's lightning quick as well. So she's definitely been the out for Belconnen, especially this second half. But again, I speak about the midfield. I think the midfield have run the show from Belconnen this second half.
And one of those midfielders is over the ball now. Mickey Day swings it into the penalty area. Good clearing header by McGovern. Back to Day again, though. That's a nice ball in. And it's knocked goalwards by Pike. No pace on it, though. James sends it out towards Mulhall. That's a better kick. It bounced, unfortunately, over the feet of the young winger. And you just get the feeling that the experience in Belconnen is starting to show at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and let's not forget that Canberra United are missing their outlet up front as well, which is Hayley Taylor-Young, that assists quite a lot of Efi Colville's goals, so she's really, really quick and normally plays on the left-hand side. She's out from a quad injury, so it's disappointing, but I think they've missed her tonight as well, just as that extra outlet.
Yeah, I tend to agree. When I've seen her play this year, lightning fast, and having that pace just draws those defenders away from Colville, doesn't it, and gives her that little bit more room that she hasn't had tonight.
Exactly, and she gets down that line and she gets in behind defences and she just causes a ruckus.
There's still time, though. When you played 28 minutes of the second half of the Federation Cup final live on Bar TV Sports, you're listening to me, Russ Gibbs, with Heather Garriock, the Canberra United head coach, enjoying the Federation Cup final, where Belconnen United are at the moment in the box seat to make it 7 of the last 8 Federation Cup trophies in the trophy cabinet here at McKellar Park. There's not much room for many more trophies. The dominant side in the competition. They wrapped up the league championship again this year, finished 12 points clear of Canberra United. These two play again on Saturday in the final make-up game of the season. I've got a feeling that'll be a high-scoring affair because both sides will be out just to have a bit of fun. His day ahead of the more serious time of finals. I guess for Belconnen United as well, they'll want to complete this unbeaten season if they can.
Yeah, exactly, and to a competitor size Ryan, that's why it's been great to see the different tactics on show tonight. But Ant won't want to drop points against CU this weekend, so I'm sure he'll have his best team out, same as Ryan.
Finals football gets underway on this weekend on Bar TV Sports, live double-header from Deakin Stadium. Tuggeranong United versus Tigers FC, followed by Canberra FC versus Canberra Olympic, and Canberra FC wrapping up the league championship in the men's, and they'll play in the NPL Finals series against Campbelltown City from South Australia at Deakin this year. I'd love to see that in the women's as well. Wouldn't it be great? See someone like Belconnen United getting the opportunity to play someone like Sydney Uni or someone like that. It would be outstanding. Yeah,
absolutely, and let's cross our fingers. Hopefully that comes to fruition this coming season. I'm not quite sure if it will. But yeah, to see Sydney University, I used to coach the Sydney University girls, so shout out to them. They've won the premiership under assistant coach of Canberra last year, Alex Apakis, so they've done well, and to see them play against Belconnen will show it'll help see the differences between the New South Wales competition and the Canberra competition.
Yeah, it'd be lovely to see a full NPL final series like that for the women. If that ever comes to fruition, that would be fantastic. It'll give that extra dimension to this women's competition as well. That's what we like to see. We like to grow the game, and it's been noticeable over the last 10 years or so how much women's football has come on, and this final is part of that, and it's been an absorbing watch. Raymond looks to chip that one forward. Unfortunately, there's no run there from Maguire. The quality of play is, over the last 10 years or so, has just been sensational, hasn't it? It's just been, and the Matildas at the forefront of that, just been setting the example and the role model for everybody else to follow.
Yeah, exactly. And when you become almost full-time professionals, which happened through the collective bargaining agreement 4 years ago, I think it was, then you start to take the players seriously, and we've just developed from there, from a footballing nation. So it's great to see.
Matilda's going from strength to strength. Keep winning football matches, that can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, you get plenty of fans when you win.
And hopefully they keep that going and push on to World Cup glory at some stage.
Absolutely.
Not too far away, I don't think.
France 2018, look out. We're definite contenders for the World Cup, that's for sure.
Absolutely no outsiders anymore for the Matildas. Swung in at a flat ball from Kier and didn't quite get the touch it wanted. Coming into the final 15 minutes of this match. No movement on either bench yet again, so Canberra United have made the two changes. Anthony Jagarinik happy to stick with what he's got at the moment. Might see Karen Clark at some stage. That's a change they sometimes make. She brings a little bit of more experience in the back line again, if they need any more. Here's Jaloka. Mulhall. Caught by Raymond. Free kick. Interesting one. I'm not sure the linesman flagged for that, but Hargrave gave it. It seemed fairly obvious, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a cold night.
Be great to see Canberra United start to turn Belconnen around, even if it's just being a little bit more direct. But I think there needs to be a few more shots on goal.
15 minutes to go. When do they start? When do you turn the screw, Heather? When do you start going, right, let's go for it? Is it now, or is it another 5 minutes or so?
I'm not quite sure what Ryan's going to do. What he did in the first half obviously worked, but you definitely want to push a player forward or get an extra midfielder in there to overload the midfield.
Bit of support for Colville. Mulhall's after this one. Raymond's chasing back. And a sliding challenge from Raymond. A bit of ball involved there. I think she may have got the ball first, not sure. Decision seems to be throw-in.
It's a great tackle though. But Mulhall, she's done outstanding tonight. Really, really well. She's caused some havoc there on the left-hand side.
The throw-in, I think, is the outcome. I think there was plenty of ball in that tackle, wasn't there? I think it was a decent one. In fact, the throw-in's gone to Belconnen somehow, which is a bit of a strange one again.
Another strange one.
Not convinced by that myself, but there we go. Looked like a decent tackle from Raymond.
Decent tackle, and she got the throw-in.
Can't be bad, can it?
Wouldn't mind that.
I think Ryan Gregan will feel the whole of the world's against him at the moment in his players, won't they? Everything seems to be going against those in green.
Can't wait to hear it in the office tomorrow.
Is his desk near yours?
Pardon?
Is his desk near yours?
No, it's not.
No, that's lucky for you. You'll be watching the replay of some of these decisions. Swung in by Day, won by Matic. Falls for Colville. Tries to touch it off, but Keir was there. Day again. Almost found Williams. Halls. Bit of pressure on, and Jaloka is out there. Russ Buchan was shadowing her. Here's Day again. Become more influential as the second half has worn on. There's Whittle, and that's bounced fortunately for Williams on the far post. Jessie Williams, and that is a very timely block by Matic. Looked bound for the bottom corner.
Very good block there, and you can just see that Canberra United are running out of legs, and like I said to you, there's only so long that you can play in that style in that block, and just in this second half, a few mistakes starting to happen. Balls aren't going Canberra United's way. Neither are calls from the referee.
Corner to Belconnen. They'll argue that they made their own luck by putting all the pressure on in this second half. Here's a chance for them to maybe kill the game off once and for all. It's swung into the penalty area. There's a header from Rashard, and it flashed past the post. Completely unmarked, Jessie Rashard.
That was a great ball.
Couldn't add to her 5 goals this season. Good delivery, wasn't it, from Williams?
Yeah, crisp, direct, plenty of pace.
James kick out. It's easily picked up in midfield, and here's Munoz. Runs into Halls. Wins a free kick. Possibly for handball. Day's behind it. Perhaps too far out for a direct shot, so Lauren Keir takes over. Belconnen have 6 shirts inside the penalty area. And Keir fizzes one towards goal, and talk about the height of ambition. Was never going to trouble Sally James, was it? But it's all one-way traffic at the moment in terms of direction where the ball is. And the green shirts of Canberra United Academy will need to get hold of this, and if they're to create a meaningful chance, which may take this to extra time. Here's Colville looking to take on Rashard, who's marshalled her very, very well this afternoon.
Yeah, she has. She's done a really good job on Efi. She hasn't been able to get past her, and that's where Efi needs to be clever and be able to maybe combine with someone, get a 1-2.
It's a good test for Colville this tonight. Grove struggled a little bit in the second half, to be fair, I think, Sasha Grove. Not quite had the freedom she did in the first half, but then again she has done a lot more defending. That's a free kick for sure. Be lucky to avoid a yellow card here, and that's probably a good decision. Seemed to dead cert yellow, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Studs down the front of her shin.
Not the first yellow card Caitlin Munoz has got.
We'll hope it's the last one.
She's too tired. I think that's what it was, Heather.
Yeah, clever. When you got a young kid running around you, you don't want to run too much. You just want to be clever and smart.
Bit of movement on the bench for the academy, and maybe making a change or two.
Yeah, it makes it difficult for Grogan in terms of depth on the bench.
Well, here's a delivery into the penalty area. Chance for Matic again. She got involved, and she's an aerial threat for sure, isn't she? She
definitely is.
Forwards and almost got on the end of that one. Rashart tries to bring it away. Williams touch. And Maguire beaten to it by DeMarco. 8 minutes to go in the Federation Cup final. 2-1 to Belconnen United. A controversial penalty from Caitlin Munoz separates the sides in this second half. All the Canberra United fans sat to our left. Fairly incredulous when that penalty was given, weren't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of boos and unhappiness, but it is part of the game. Let's face it. As a footballer, there's so many wrong decisions you make on the field, passing decisions, tackles, and different things like that. And referees are human as well.
Exactly.
Hopefully that gets me a star for the referees.
Tick on the box for the W League season if there's any W League referees watching. Kia swings that one into the penalty area. James needs to come, and she does, and collects it very well. And she's collected in turn by Pike, who apologises.
I'll tell you
Genuine attempt for the ball, that from Pike, I think.
Sally James has been exceptional in this second half. She caught everything.
It's a very brave bit of goalkeeping, because she knew she was going to get clattered, didn't she?
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to see 14-year-old Geordie Ushta very shortly. She's stripped off and ready to go in the lime green boots. Just in front of us in the commentary position. Free kick Belconnen. Morgan this time is the one penalised. Until free kick, which Kia will take. Hearing there's a crowd of 358 in, which is not bad for a Wednesday evening in Canberra.
Yeah, it's great, especially considering the weather as well. But there's lots of young kids out here.
Kia, that's dipping, that's dangerous. And James again. Very confident piece of goalkeeping. She's just done enough to suggest she should have started, perhaps. Yeah, although Davey did nothing wrong in the first half.
She only dropped a couple of balls for us.
That's true. James does look a little bit more confident under those high balls. To be fair to Davey, though, when she did fumble them, she threw herself to the ground to make amends. Tried to get in the way. And got a knock, and which is why she's not out here for the second half, and Sally James is. And doing very well. That's swung in, that's handball, surely.
Oh my gosh!
Well, that is a huge moment again. It looked a dead cert handball from where we were sat. The arm was well away from the side. And somehow Belconnen dodged a bullet, and Ryan Grogan's asking the question of the fourth official. It's the worst job in football, the fourth official, isn't it? They can't do anything about it. And that down player goes in the area. This time it's a goal kick. Heather, your call?
Oh, that is a clear handball. And you know what? Ryan's fired up, and so he should be, because that was a clear handball. That's very disappointing.
Canberra United Academy been on the rough end of a couple at both ends of the park now. Will that fire them up for this final 5 minutes or so in the Federation Cup final?
Yeah, well, I know the personality of Rossback and Hughesy. That'll fire him up, no doubt. And Hughes was actually appealing to the referee, and the referee said no.
I'd love to see the replay of it, but it looked absolutely ironclad from where we were on first glance.
Definite. Hand was up. She knew she did the wrong thing as well, because she looked straight away to the referee.
Yeah, the VAR would have given it, you'd think.
Absolutely.
Two big calls at both ends of the park, having a major effect on this Federation Cup final so far. We're into the final 4 minutes of play, plus whatever stoppage time we're going to get, and those of a Canberra United persuasion right now will be feeling that the world is against them, and the weight of the world is on their shoulders, isn't it? Sometimes it happens like that for you. You just don't get anything.
Yeah, sometimes luck doesn't fall your way.
And luck plays a major part in any cup final, as you're well aware. Anybody watching this who's watched football over the years, and fair to say Belconnen dodged a major one there. Here's Day sliding it down the line, and Morgan gets a foot in and thrash it into the stands. Time is the enemy for Canberra United Academy. We're going to see Geordie Ushta takes off the bib. And we're going to see Karen Clark soon as well for Belconnen United. Let's see who Ujda is going to replace. It's Mulhall, who's done very well. She scored the goal. Gets the last 5 minutes off. Opened the scoring in the 19th minute, did Izzy Mulhall. At that stage, it all looked like it was rosy for Canberra United. That equalising goal on the half-time from Maddie Whittle, though, changed the complexion of the match. And in the second half, 2 controversial penalty calls. One that went for Belconnen and one that didn't go for the Academy. Ujda is beaten to it by Raymond. Jaloka. Williams. Maguire with a strike and is dipping, but just not enough to trouble James, who again looked fairly comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. She saw that glide over the bar. But one thing Belconnen's done this half is move the ball around quickly, and Ant's instructions, no doubt, at half-time would be move the ball quickly. He continues to keep saying it here on the sideline and getting the message out there. So that was really good play. Good strike there by Jazz Maguire.
Is this a case of what we have, we hold? Karen Clark, defender on for striker Jetty Williams, who was jogging off and was told by Anthony Jagarin to just slow it down a bit.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
There's 3 minutes to go.
She's trying to be a good sport.
It's great to see, isn't it? I was about to say, there's no thought in her mind at all to waste any time. Just get off the field and then get on with the game. Hasten to say, if this was the men's competition, they'd still be walking off. Day slays it into the path of Raymond. Good ball, that. Looking to swing it in, but couldn't get enough, wrap her foot around the ball enough, and it's a goal kick and minute and a half to go. Can you see a way back in this for the Academy with what's left plus whatever stoppage time? Must be a couple of minutes.
The ball needs to get down the other end, and Efi needs to play on the last line.
Yeah, they've not really thrown enough players forward to support her yet.
No, there's still
Clark playing up front, as she has done a couple of times this season. We do need to get some players up in support if they are to force extra time, and if they do score now, we would be having an extra half an hour. I'm not sure that would be good for the circulation in your feet, Heather. Here's Munoz. Raymond goes down. Morgan not penalised this time, and she thought she was guilty as well. And the whistle does go eventually, and no one knows what's going on here. It just needs to be a better decision-making process. It's now a free kick to Belconnen. There's a card. That was inevitable, I think. Was that Hughes?
Yeah, descent from Hughes.
It's fairly inevitable there, because some of the decisions that they've been copying in the last couple of minutes have been baffling, to say the least. I think the free kick was the right decision. Morgan gave herself up, really, for the foul on Raymond, and then it wasn't given, and then it was.
Yeah, so as a player, the things you get taught at training is you just keep going.
Exactly.
Don't hit a whistle. I don't think there was a whistle, was there?
There wasn't until everyone stopped and looked at the referee, and the linesman decided to chip in. A swung in. Matic wins the header. Helped clear up towards halfway, but Day's there, and Ujda gets another touch. Looks to fire it forward. It's not a bad looking ball, and she's going to force her team a corner. It was Rosebuck, I beg your pardon. Ujda was chasing. And Morgan will take the throw. We're into stoppage time at the end of the Federation Cup final. Whittle, who scored the equaliser, concedes the throw-in. Is there something for this young Canberra Academy side? Morgan. They're going to get another shot at Belconnen no matter what in the league on the weekend, and then in the 1v2 qualification final. Here's Rosebuck and lining up from distance, and that wasn't a bad effort at all. More of that would have been good earlier in the game.
Yeah, I know, that's what disappoints me, is there's a couple of minutes to go on the clock, and then you decide to want to put a shot on the frame, and they haven't done that for the last 30 minutes. But Rossback, and she's a winner, so that's the reason why there's a high press coming here.
Yeah, maybe it's come too little too late though. Pike and the pressure from Grove, who's battled against Pike throughout the whole game, and Grove gets a foot in. Maguire's there and prodded forward by Munoz towards Clark, who let the ball do the work for her. Halls is there. She needs to try and keep it in if she can. Tries to win the throw, can't. And Belconnen, well, I think they wouldn't be in any rush, but they seem to be. Here's Whittle in the penalty area. Good turn by Madeline Whittle, and a good save by James. Low down to her right with a foot. Back in from Maguire. That would have put it to bed. Good stop, Sally James. Now Colville. Only Grove ahead of her. Rosbagen make the long bursting run to try and join Colville. Well, there's a thumping coming together between Colville and Maguire, and again it's the green shirts that are penalised, and Colville seems surprised and she's cramped up there. We hope that's cramping nothing more. Looks like it, doesn't it, Heather?
Yeah, it looks like cramps, and Rosbacken as well is limping as well. So they've given it all they've got today, and I think their first half was outstanding. And for me, the moment or the changing game was that last minute of the first half when the quality ball from Caitlin Munoz into Maddie Whittle on the last line. And Maddie scoring that goal to even things up.
Well, goals change games, don't they? And that one certainly did. Going in at half-time either 1-0 or 1-1, massive difference. Swung in towards Munoz, it's bouncing around, it's hit the post. Might come from Munoz again on the turn. What a save that is from James to her right. Super stop. Look, for all money, it was 3-1 and game over. Outstanding save. Munoz lines one up from distance, straight into DeMarco. And here comes Grove. Is there something dramatic at the end that's just a bit too heavy? What a save though from Sally James.
She has been absolutely outstanding, and I'm not quite sure how old she is, but she's done a really good job in that second half.
There it is. It's Belconnen United who win the Federation Cup for the 7th time in 8 seasons. It's probably what we expected in terms of a result, but not in the way we expected to get there, Heather, and it's been a gallant effort from Canberra United, and they can justifiably, without looking at the replays, suggest that perhaps they were harshly done by.
Yeah, they were hard done by Canberra United, but again, they didn't create much in the second half, and Belconnen went out in the second half, and they were aggressive and played some really good football. And again, in that midfield, I think they dominated, especially with their experience. They rose to the top. And it's disappointing in terms of refereeing decisions, but again, congratulations to Belconnen and well fought to Canberra United.
It was a great battle in that midfield, and Canberra United, like you said, never gave up. In the end, it was that bit more experience and a bit more nous, and the knowledge of winning games as well plays a big part in these processes, doesn't it? Yeah,
most definitely. And I think Belconnen got caught out in the first half and weren't too sure on how to break down that mid-block, and then second half they come out and obviously got coached by Ant, and they did, and they were aggressive and they were direct, and they did really well. So well done to Belconnen United.
Very well done. Thank you very much, Heather, for your company tonight. We enjoyed that. Good luck for the W League season and plenty more stuff to come. Any insider tips on any more signings you want to share?
No, not quite. You'll see it through the media. We're going to release a player every week, so it's exciting times ahead, and we're looking forward to the season. That's
a big news tomorrow as well, as we understand, for Canberra United to look forward to.
Yeah, there's going to be a press release tomorrow about a few exciting ventures happening, so look out for that.
Keep an eye out for that. Thanks again for your commentary this evening. We'll leave you with a bit of footage of the presentation here, but it's finished in the Federation Cup. It was a goal from Izzy Mulhall that gave Canberra United the lead in 90 minutes. It was a goal that looked like giving them the lead till half-time, but Maddie Whittle stole in to equalise in stoppage time, and in the second half, a very, very controversial penalty decision given to Belconnen United when Munoz ran into a marker. Referee gave the spot kick. Munoz dispatched it, and then at the other end, we thought we might get a levelling penalty. Rashard, I think it was, whose arm was out by her side, and penalty not given, and in the end Belconnen United are Federation Cup winners once more. Thanks for your company here on Bar TV Sports. The final score, Belconnen United 2, Canberra United 1.